What's up tech fans, Kevin here, and this is the CM Storm Mizar gaming mouse from Cooler Master, a $60 mouse that has a lot of features most would consider as pretty standard these days in gaming mice, but the one thing that's meant to set this one apart is its ergonomic design and comfort level across all hand sizes. So how does it perform, and does it actually provide the kind of comfort they advertise? Well, that's what we're going to find out today on Tech of Tomorrow. Alright, so those of you that have stuck around on this channel know the drill by now. To begin with, let's talk aesthetics. The Mizar is easily the smallest mouse I've ever reviewed on this channel. Not that the other mice we've talked about have been huge, it's just that they tend to be a little more on the larger size to accommodate for things like extra macro buttons or more defined grips. Not in this case though, as the Mizar is a very small, sleek design. Very simple at first glance, with the obvious exception of the light up effects. It has the Cooler Master logo located where your palm goes. This is with a one customizable place for the lights. You can change the color of the logo and whether or not it's a solid color or blinks or breathes. While the scroll wheel and DPI buttons both sport a plain white light, which is a great contrast to the mouse's black matte design. Now you'll notice too that on the sides of the mouse that this isn't the same material all around. There's a pair of rubber pads along both sides for your non-clicky fingers to grip and rest onto. And this of course brings us to the big question slash advertised selling point of this mouse, the comfort factor. Now if you guys have been keeping track of all the different accessory reviews on this channel, you'll remember that one mouse that I couldn't stop ranting about the comfort factor for in the past was the Rocat Cone, which is a noticeably larger mouse at a similar price point. It has a very different approach to how it makes itself comfortable. It has a lot of very defined curves for your fingers to fit into, which for my hand size was great, but for someone with smaller hands, it might be a bit much. Whereas the Mizar here is, like I said earlier, noticeably pretty small, and the contours it features are much more subtle. It's a pretty light grip, and your hand can just rest very easily across the top of it. And I do like the addition of those rubber sides, because it lets you really grip with your thumb without really feeling like you're just pressing against a hard surface, or if you're the sweaty hands type, needing to deal with the surface getting slicker. Now, like the Cone though, it is worth mentioning that this is an ergonomic design meant for right-handed users. So even though those curves might be more slight, it still really isn't all that comfortable for those of you out there that want to use left-handed mice. So that is one thing to be aware of. Now, as for the claim on all hand sizes, I actually had friends and family try it out as well, and despite its overall small build, it did in fact provide a solid comfort factor across those hand sizes. In part, I think due to the simplistic approach they took to the ergonomic design, rather than having heavily defined curves. So aesthetics and comfort are pretty awesome, but what does this thing have to offer in terms of actual functionality? Well, as you could probably tell by looking at it earlier, it does feature a 7-button setup. We've got the traditional left and right mouse clicks, a clickable scroll wheel, 2 buttons located behind the wheel initially set for DPI customization, and a pair of buttons located just above the thumb. So a pretty standard approach for that many buttons. Now, as you'd expect from a gaming mouse, all of these options are customizable using their downloadable software. Each one can be used to emulate traditional mouse clicks or offer DPI switches, profile cycling, keyboard keys, multimedia controls, or custom macros. You can have a total of 4 different profiles actively saved to the mouse, each of which can support 4 different saved DPI settings, going as high as 8200. And the mouse does give you a way to keep track of what setting you're currently using by having the Cooler Master logo temporarily take a different color for each level, white being the lowest, followed by red, green, and blue. Other options are fairly basic. You can change the mouse's polling rate, double click speed, and of course, as I said earlier, customize the colors of the Cooler Master logo, choosing between 7 different options, though like I said, the scroll wheel and DPI buttons will always be white. So overall, the Mizar is a pretty simplistic mouse, but one that does deliver on its promise of being pretty comfortable across a wide array of different hand sizes and grip styles. Now obviously, I can't test every single hand out there, but amongst the sample size I've taken from both friends and relatives, it's put up to the test quite well. It doesn't offer every single fancy feature under the sun, but it doesn't really need to. At $60, if you're just looking for a solid performing mouse that's comfy, the Mizar is a solid choice, just as long as you don't need 20 different macro buttons and every perceivable backlit color option. Well, that was my review of the CM Storm Mizar gaming mouse from Cooler Master. If you guys are interested in grabbing it, we do have a link posted down below, as well as a couple other useful links like some of my other projects I got in the works. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button to let us know, and subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on any future content. Until next time guys, I'm Kevin, you've been watching Tech of Tomorrow. I'll see you later.